Hello, everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let me ask you something, and don't answer too quickly. Have you ever felt invisible in a room full of people? Have you ever looked at someone you wanted, someone who made your heart race, and deep down you knew they didn't even notice you existed? That's a knife men carry silently, and here's the part no one wants to admit. Sometimes it's not about your looks, not about your money, not even about your status. It's something much darker, something rooted in psychology, and if you don't understand it, you'll keep losing without ever knowing why. You see, attraction isn't about surface-level traits, it's about energy. Women don't say this out loud, but they can smell insecurity like smoke in a room. And when they sense it, they pull back, even if they can't explain why. That's why some men with nothing but confidence get chased, while others, with everything on paper, get ignored. It isn't fair, but it's real. And if you've been wondering why hot women overlook you, I need you to understand. It's not that they're out of your league. It's that you've been playing the wrong game. Female psychology is layered. Women are not attracted to men who beg for attention. They're drawn to men who command it without even asking. The men who walk into a space and shift the atmosphere, not because they're loud, but because they carry a presence that whispers, "I don't need you to validate me." That presence, that's the secret you've been denied. And here's the truth most men never hear. Women test you without saying a word. The silence, the glance away, the small delay in replying. Those aren't accidents, they're subconscious challenges. And if you crumble, if you chase, if you show desperation, you fail. But if you stand still, if you breathe, if you remain centered, something shifts in her. She sees you differently. She feels a pull she can't explain. That's the power hidden beneath the surface. So the question is, do you want to keep being the man overlooked? Or do you want to become the man she can't stop thinking about? Because in the next breath, I'll take you where most men never go. Inside the silent rules of female attraction, rules that once you see them, you can never unsee. Here's something you were never told. Women are not attracted to perfection. They are attracted to polarity. What does that mean? It means the fire of attraction lives in the tension between your masculine presence and her feminine response. And the mistake most men make is they blur that line. They try to be too soft, too agreeable, too much of what they think she wants, without realizing that every time they bend, they chip away at the very force that makes her feel desire. She doesn't want you to be her best girlfriend. She wants you to be the anchor when her emotions spin, the stormbreaker when her feelings surge. She wants to feel your steadiness, not your surrender. Let me be brutally honest. Women don't fall in love with the man who obeys every little request. They may appreciate him, they may even use him, but they don't burn for him. The fire ignites for the man who knows his own direction so deeply that he doesn't lose himself trying to please her. The paradox is this: when you stop chasing her approval, she starts chasing your attention. When you stop proving yourself, she starts wondering about you. It's the pull of the unknown, the gravity of a man who is whole on his own. Think about it. Have you noticed how women are drawn to men who seem slightly out of reach? Not because they're jerks, not because they're distant for no reason, but because they radiate the rare energy of self-sufficiency. A man who doesn't fold under pressure. A man who values himself more than he fears losing her. That's the kind of psychology that flips the script and makes her invest in you. But here's the catch. This isn't about pretending, it's about embodying. Women are masters at sensing masks. You can't fake strength. You can't fake calm. You can't fake presence. If inside you're needy, she will feel it. If inside you're desperate, she'll pull back. The real transformation happens when you learn to shift your core energy, when you actually become the man who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't break. That's when her tests stop feeling like rejection and start becoming opportunities. Opportunities to show her you are the storm she cannot shake. And I'll tell you this, once a woman feels that from you, Once she experiences the contrast between her chaos and your calm, she won't be able to forget you. Because deep in her psychology, that's what she's wired to crave. Let me ask you something. How many times have you thought you were making progress with a woman, only for her to suddenly pull away? One moment she's smiling at your texts, the next she's cold, distant, distracted. You replay the conversations in your head, wondering what you did wrong. But here's the truth that will change everything. Most of the time, she didn't lose interest. She was testing you. And almost every man fails these silent tests. You see, women are not consciously plotting these moves. It's instinctual. Deep in their psychology, they are wired to test for strength, to push against your frame to see if it holds. A late reply, a subtle withdrawal, a comment designed to sting. These are her ways of asking, can you handle me when I'm not easy? Can you stay calm when I try to shake you? If you react with fear, with panic, with anger, you confirm her worst suspicion, that you're not the man she thought you were. But if you remain grounded, unshaken, she feels something even she can't explain. Respect, desire, safety. Men misunderstand this completely. They think the goal is to always make her happy, always keep things smooth, always say the right thing. But women don't fall for men who bend to avoid conflict. They fall for the men who can withstand it. Attraction isn't built in comfort, it's built in tension. It's in those moments where she pushes and you don't collapse, that she feels the polarity spark to life. Let me give you an example. She cancels plans last minute. The average man gets needy, complains, asks why. But the man who understands simply says, "No problem, let me know when you're free," and goes back to his life. He doesn't sulk, doesn't chase, doesn't punish. That response tells her more about his value than 1,000 compliments ever could. She realizes, this man's world doesn't orbit me. That's when her attraction grows. Here's the part you need to burn into your mind. If you crumble under her tests, she loses faith in your strength. But if you stand firm, calm, and steady, she leans in closer, often without realizing why. Her psychology is not moved by your words, but by your energy under pressure. That's the secret men who win with women know. You don't pass her tests by fighting them. You pass by remaining unshakable in the storm. Most men think attraction is enough. They think if they can just spark chemistry, get her attention, make her laugh, then everything else will fall into place. But here's the harsh reality. Women separate men into categories without even realizing it. There's the man she finds fun for a moment, and then there's the man she can't let go of. And the difference between those two has nothing to do with looks or money. It has everything to do with depth. Here's the truth most men never hear. A woman may be drawn to your surface at first, but she decides your worth by how you make her feel over time. Short-term attraction can be created by charm, confidence, even by playing games. But long-term devotion, that comes when she feels that her feminine energy is amplified around you. If she feels more alive, more beautiful, more desired, more safe when she's with you, she won't just want you, she'll fight to keep you. But here's the danger. Most men who catch her attention in the beginning lose her later because they start shrinking into comfort. They get complacent. They stop leading. They stop challenging her. They turn into the man who puts her on a pedestal, the man who trades power for approval. And the moment she feels you've stopped being the anchor, she begins to drift. She may not even say it out loud, but she feels it in her body. Your energy shifted. You stopped being the man she couldn't ignore and became the man she can take for granted. This is why women are drawn to men who never lose themselves. The man who continues to evolve, who keeps his mission alive, who doesn't collapse into her arms and expect her to complete him. When she sees that you are grounded in your own path, she feels safe enough to bring her full feminine self to you. That's the dynamic most men never reach, and that's why they get left behind. You have to ask yourself this: Do you want to be the man she remembers for a season, or the man she can't replace for a lifetime? Because the truth is, women are deciding every day which category you belong to, and only the men who master presence, strength, and depth earn her loyalty beyond attraction. If you really want to understand women, stop listening only to their words and start paying attention to their emotions. Because here's the truth, women's emotions are not random. They are the compass that directs who they invest in, who they surrender to, and who they walk away from. A woman can tell you she wants stability, security, a nice guy, but if her emotions don't ignite around you, she will never stay. Her psychology doesn't follow logic, it follows feeling. And this is where most men fail. They think winning a woman's love is about convincing her. They argue, they explain, they promise. But women are not persuaded into attraction. They are pulled into it. That pull comes from how you make her feel, not what you say. If you can stir her emotions, her curiosity, her excitement, her comfort, her admiration, she will attach to you more strongly than she even understands. If you cannot, she will drift, no matter how good of a man you are on paper. This is why women are drawn to men who can lead them into emotional experiences. The man who can make her laugh, but also make her think. The man who can give her butterflies, but also calm her storms. The man who can challenge her without crushing her. These emotional contrasts build a kind of addiction. She begins to crave your presence because with you, her inner world feels alive. And once a woman associates you with that kind of emotional depth, she doesn't just want you, she needs you. But let me be clear, this is not about manipulation. It's not about tricking her feelings. Women have a natural radar for men who are fake. This is about becoming the man who can genuinely hold emotional space. The man who isn't afraid of her moods, her intensity, her fire. The man who can stand calm when she's chaotic, who can remain strong when she's vulnerable, who can create adventure when she's restless. That man becomes unforgettable. Think about it. Why do women stay hooked on certain men long after the relationship ends? Why can't they stop thinking about the one who made them feel something deeper than anyone else? Because emotions are imprinted, and once she's felt that intensity with you, no one else measures up. That's the hidden compass. That's the psychology that separates men who are forgotten from men who leave permanent marks. Here's the paradox no one talks about. Women will beg for your attention, your time, your devotion. But if you give it without boundaries, she will lose respect for you. She may not say it directly, but deep in her psychology, she craves something more powerful than approval. She craves your strength, and strength without boundaries is impossible. Think about it. When a man has no boundaries, when he gives in to every request, every demand, every emotional swing, what does that tell her? It tells her he values peace over principle. It tells her he fears losing her more than he values himself. And no matter how much she claims she wants control, her attraction dies the moment she realizes she can bend you at will. Why? Because women cannot admire a man who doesn't protect his own standards. The men women desire the most are not the ones who say yes to everything. They are the ones who can say no without hesitation. The man who can walk away from disrespect. The man who can draw the line and enforce it calmly, without rage, without begging, without apology. That man radiates a rare energy. He's not controlled by her moods, and he's not enslaved by her beauty. He chooses her, but he does not need her. And that difference changes everything. Boundaries are not walls, they are signals. When you stand firm on what you will and will not tolerate, you are teaching her how to treat you. You're showing her that you respect yourself enough to demand respect in return. And here's the part that shocks most men. When you enforce boundaries, women may resist at first, but secretly they feel safer. They feel the presence of a man who won't collapse. And that safety, that tension, that unshakable energy makes their attraction grow deeper. This is why the same woman who walks all over one man will become loyal to another. It's not about her. It's about how each man responds. One folds, the other stands tall. One tries to keep her by giving in. The other keeps her by refusing to lose himself. And deep inside, that's exactly what she wants. Not control, not power, but a man strong enough to hold his ground. Because only then can she fully relax into her feminine energy. So remember this. Every time you set a boundary, you're not pushing her away. You're pulling her closer, because you're reminding her you are a man worth respecting, worth desiring, and worth staying loyal to. If you want to know the truth about why some men never struggle with women, it's this. Their lives don't revolve around women. And that, ironically, is exactly why women revolve around them. A man who has no mission, no direction, no fire of his own, will always end up orbiting around her world. At first, she might enjoy the attention. She might even use it. But deep in her psychology, she feels something missing. He may be sweet, he may be safe, but he does not inspire her. He does not challenge her. He does not pull her into something greater than herself. Here's the truth. Women fall hardest for men with purpose. Not just a job, not just money, a mission. Something that drives him so deeply he would chase it with or without her. That energy is magnetic because it signals strength, independence, and vision. And women want to feel that they are joining a man's journey, not dragging him along. They want to feel like their presence enhances your path, not defines it. Think about it. When a man wakes up with goals, when he builds, creates, fights for something bigger than himself, his energy changes. He carries himself differently. He moves through the world with intention, and women sense that immediately. They don't just see a man, they see a force. A man like that doesn't need to prove his worth. His mission proves it for him, and because his life doesn't depend on her approval, she gives it more freely. The tragedy is that most men do the opposite. They abandon their mission the moment they get a woman's attention. They start canceling plans, forgetting dreams, rearranging everything to keep her close. And while they think this shows love, what it really shows is weakness. She may not admit it, but she feels her attraction draining. Because when you give up your mission for her, she realizes she has become your purpose. And no woman wants that burden. A woman doesn't want to be your entire world. She wants to stand next to a man who already has one. That's what creates the dynamic she craves, the polarity of a man who is grounded in his vision, while she becomes the woman who inspires, supports, and magnifies it. That's when she feels alive in her feminine, because she is next to a man truly alive in his masculine. And once she experiences that, she won't want to let it go. Now listen carefully, because everything comes down to this. Women may be mysterious, unpredictable, even confusing at times, but their psychology is not impossible to understand. The secret is that attraction is never about tricks, never about lines, never about manipulation. It's about energy. It's about who you are when no one is watching. It's about whether you show up as the man who bends to be accepted or the man who stands unshakable in his truth. Women are not searching for perfection. They are searching for presence. A man who carries himself with confidence without arrogance. A man who doesn't lose himself in her moods, but instead grounds her in his steadiness. A man who has his own mission, his own standards, his own boundaries, and who welcomes her into his life without needing her to complete it. That's the man who captures her heart, not just her attention. And here's the reality most men will never face. The battle isn't with women. The battle is within yourself. Because the moment you build unshakable confidence, the moment you align with your purpose, the moment you master your emotions and your energy, women will respond differently without you even trying. The tests will stop feeling like rejection. The silence will stop feeling like abandonment. You'll see it clearly for what it is. Her psychology searching for proof that you are the man she can trust, the man she can follow, the man she can admire. You don't need to chase. You don't need to beg. You don't need to perform. You need to become. Become the man who commands respect without asking for it. Become the man who stands tall no matter the storm. Become the man who doesn't need to convince her because his very presence does the convincing. Once you step into that power, you'll notice something. Suddenly, the women who once ignored you will lean in. The conversations will shift. The dynamic will change. Because women are not attracted to men they can control. They are drawn, irresistibly, to men they cannot shake. So ask yourself this right now. Are you living as the man she forgets, or the man she can't get out of her mind? Answer honestly in the comments below, and let's see how many of you are ready to face the truth. And if this message hit you hard, like this video, subscribe for more, and share it with a friend who needs to hear it. Because the world doesn't need more men pretending, they need more men becoming.